next speaker is one of those people for whom the phrase needs no introduction was created. Nonetheless, I will introduce him. He's one of the founders of our club, a longtime Toastmaster, sets the standard to which we all aspire. Accredited speaker, Wayne Choate.
Beth, I love to tell the story of the worker. The worker that went down to the company lunchroom. He sat down, opened up his lunch, slammed the table, and he jumped up and he screamed, "Oh no, not bologna again! This is the third day this week I've had bologna, and I hate bologna." Fellow employee sitting nearby say, "Hey friend, chill. Don't have a heart attack. All you got to do is just ask your wife to make you something different for lunch." The worker said, "What's my wife got to do with this? I make my lunches." Well, Madam Toastmaster, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you why I like that story so much. I like it because it is a reminder to me, and I think it can be a reminder to all of us, that we all make our own lunches. And in a very, very real sense, we all make our own success in life. So here today, allow me to talk with all of you about how you can make your own success in life. Now, I'm fully qualified to talk about this topic. Qualified because I've reached that age in life where people tell me that I have chronological credibility. Chronological credibility. So sit back and relax and let me share with you how you can make your own success in life. And I can do it because I know what prevents you from becoming a better leader, a better manager, a better speaker, a better lover, a better teacher, a better parent, a better salesperson, a better secretary, a better Toastmaster. I know what prevents everyone from maximizing their human effectiveness and making their own success in life. Would you like to know what that is, Arnell?
Yes.
Well, I'm going to tell you. It's the way that you talk to yourself. The way that you talk to yourself. Now, just out of curiosity, how many of you actually do talk to yourself? Can I see your hands? Good. A lot of hands went up. I appreciate that. But I couldn't help but to notice that a couple of you didn't raise your hand. And I know what you're thinking. Those of you who did not raise your hand, you're sitting there thinking, no, I don't believe I talk to myself. Oh, yes, you do. You do. I do. We all do. We talk to ourselves every waking minute of every waking hour, and it's the way that we talk to ourselves that can direct the outcome of our lives, and we can make our own success in life if we'll just change the way that we talk to ourselves. And do you know how we should be talking to ourselves, Tim? We should be getting up each morning, putting our feet on the floor, running to the window, looking outside and saying, "Good morning, Lord." But you know how most people talk to themselves? They drag themselves out of bed. They drag themselves to the window. They glance outside and they say, "Oh, good Lord, it's morning. We need to change the way that we talk to ourselves." I had a similar experience with my son, Wayne Jr. This is way back when he played baseball in high school. I'll never forget it. Wayne Jr. came to me one morning and he said, Dad, we have one of our most important games today, and I sure hope you don't come to see me play because I'm just going to mess up." I amended the actual language. But what my foul-mouthed teenage son meant, he was going to mess up. Now, would any of you venture a guess as to what happened to Wayne Jr. that day in that game?
Yes.
Can't you see it's the way that we talk to ourselves that can direct the outcome of our lives? And we can make our own success in life if we'll just change the way that we talk to ourselves. You know, I guess I had all this brought back to me very vividly. You know, this wisdom of talking to yourself more positively instead of negatively. I had it brought back to me when I served as district governor. That's what we called it back when I served, was district governor. They call it district director now. But when I served as district governor, it just seems like the other day that I was the governor. But if I had to be real honest with you, I have to tell you it's been over 30 years. But even though it's over 30 years, I can still remember, as a district governor, I could be oftentimes heard traveling around the district saying, if you want to become a better leader, if you want to become a better manager, if you want to become a better speaker, then all you got to do is just join Toastmasters. That's all you got to do. Well, Brenda, I don't say that anymore. Let me tell you what I say now, and please don't jump on me. Let me explain. I now say that just joining Toastmasters will not make you a better leader, a better manager, a better speaker. And the reason why I say that now is when I served as your governor, I gave a speech. I think it was up in Thousand Oaks. And I was giving this speech to a group of Toastmasters and non-Toastmasters alike. And I was doing what I would typically do. I was extolling the virtues of Toastmasters. I was telling that listening audience that they could become all they want in the area of communication and leadership development. They could become all they want in these two areas just by joining Toastmasters. And after I had delivered that speech, I had this Toastmaster come up to me. He came up to me with his uhs and his ahs and totally devoid of any eye contact and terrible, terrible grammar. He walked up to me and he said, "Is you the governor?" I said, "Yes, I is." No, I did not say that. I said, "Yes, I am. What can I do for you?" He said, "Well, I've been a member of Toastmasters now for over 6 years, and it hasn't helped me." And believe me, he didn't have to tell me that. I said, you tell me you've been a member of Toastmasters for over 6 years. Would you mind if I asked you just a few questions? Just a few? He said, "Not at all." I said, "Well, as a member of Toastmasters for over 6 years, have you attained your DTM, the highest level of distinction and recognition in Toastmasters? Are you now a DTM?" He said, "Well, no." He says, "I can still remember, though, back in the early years when I first joined Toastmasters, I attended a district conference. And there were a lot of distinguished Toastmasters there. You can always tell them they wear a special little badge. And I remember looking around the room at that conference center of all those distinguished Toastmasters, and I just said to myself, I will never be able to reach that highest level of distinction. I will never be a DTM. I just told myself I can't achieve it. Can't you see that it's the way that we talk to ourselves that can direct our outcome of our lives, and we can make our own success because it is an inside job. An inside job, yes it is. So I said to that Toastmaster, I said, "Now, how often does your club meet?" I said, he said, "My club meets every Thursday morning." I said, "That's very interesting. How often do you attend your weekly Thursday meeting?" And this is a true story. I'm relating the story to you exactly the way it happened. He said, "I attend my weekly meeting probably on average, probably once a month." I said, "Well, if you're only attending once a month, how often are you the featured speaker, the prepared speaker on the program?" He said, "Oh, I can't give a speech every time I go." I said, "Just tell me, how often do you speak in your club?" He said, "I guess if I really had to guess, I'd have to tell you, I'd probably give a speech in my club 2 or 3 times a year." I said, "Well, if you're only speaking 2 or 3 times a year, have you completed any of your manuals?" He said, "My what?" I said, "Yeah, your manuals. You remember when you first joined Toastmasters, you gave your icebreaker?" He said, "Oh, yes. I remember giving that icebreaker, and that was the most disastrous experience that I've ever had. After I gave that icebreaker, me and my beads of sweat, my knocking knees, we staggered around the room, and I slumped down in my chair. And I looked around the table at all the other members of that club, and I just said to myself, I'm never going to be as good a speaker as the rest of the members of this club. So I just gave up using that manual. I don't even know where it is." Now, isn't that too bad? Isn't it too bad that that Toastmaster hadn't figured out what I hope everyone in this room has already figured out, and that is that life is competition. But here inside Toastmasters, are we really competing with ourselves? Don't we compete with ourselves each week to be a little bit better this week than we were last week, and to be a little bit better next week than we were this week? Isn't that what competition is all about here in Toastmasters? And it's too bad that Toastmaster hadn't figured it out. Finally, I asked this Toastmaster one last question. I said, "Now, as a member of your club for 6 years, have you given anything back and served as a club officer?" He said, "Oh, no. I told him when I first joined that I couldn't serve as a club officer because I wasn't born with the leadership gene. I said, what in the world are you talking about? Wasn't born with the leadership gene. I said, surely you read the paper. In the paper I read where mothers give birth to little boys, mothers give birth to little girls, but I've never read where a mother's ever given birth to a leader. Never read it. Never read where a mother's ever given birth to a speaker, for that matter. But now I do read where leaders and speakers die, and that must mean that somewhere between birth and death, there must be something an individual can do. There must be a place that an individual can go in order to develop their communication and leadership skills. And ladies and gentlemen, isn't that the great organization that we call Toastmasters, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And it's too bad that Toastmaster figured that out. Okay, let's review. What was I talking to that day after I finished that speak up in Thousand Oaks? Or for the grammarian in the room, maybe I should rephrase that. To whom was I speaking to? I was speaking to a Toastmaster, been in the organization for over 6 years. Toastmaster doesn't attend his weekly meetings very regularly. Toastmaster doesn't give very many speeches. Toastmaster hadn't completed any of the educational program. A Toastmaster who hadn't served as a club officer. A Toastmaster who talked to himself very negatively. And he had the nerve to come to the district governor and say, Toastmasters hasn't helped me. He kind of reminded me of the man who didn't kiss his wife for 10 years. And then he shot the man who did. No, you can't come back 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, or a lifetime later and say Toastmasters hasn't helped me, or my life hasn't fallen into place somehow, unless you've done the things that you were supposed to. And what prevented that Toastmaster from doing the things he was supposed to? Wasn't it the way that he was talking to himself? Don't you know it's what we program into this little computer that can make all the difference in the world? And I'm sure most of you know that the human mind is the fastest working, coolest running, most compact and efficient computer mechanism ever produced in large quantities by unskilled labor. And it's what we program into this computer can make all the difference in the world. Now, I'll be the first to tell you that what I've delivered here today is nothing new. You all know how important it is. You know the wisdom of talking to yourself more positively instead of negatively. You all know that. But I think it was Mark Twain who said it best. He said, we cannot remember everything that we know. We have to be reminded. And that's really all I wanted to do. I wanted to remind you to change the way you talk in case, don't let that negative creep in, because I'm here to tell you, it is an inside job. Madam Toastmaster.
Madam Timer, may we have 2 minutes for comments for Wayne?